Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the SU-18. It's on the south spawn of Mines, and the name of the commander is Seshet, and she was the winner in Tier 4 of the Arty Day competition. And this replay took place shortly after the Arty Day competition actually ended. I say shortly after, I think it actually took place about an hour after the competition closed. Okay, now Seshet's actually set up. She's moved to the forward position, which is something I favour actually. Sitting behind that rock, you've got a much more extended range, and that means you can hit some of the targets as they're on their way up to the hill. That's a little late. Yep, unfortunately that T1 did get hit though, and badly damaged. But unfortunately her shot was a little late, so it fell behind the T1. But the T1's bound to turn round and try and go back and get that Panzer II. Oh, he didn't, but Seshet managed to take him out anyway. Alright, H-35, that's a Tier 2 French light tank with very heavy armour. And that Panzer II is not going to penetrate him. In fact, he should pull back. In fact, he's too late to pull back now. He's been killed. Right, Seshet fires, gets a hit. It's a decent hit. Right, she spotted a Panzer 35T in the village. Try and line up a shot. Shooting over the rubble. Round out. Oh, he pulls back. It's almost like the Matrix. He knew to pull back at that particular moment to avoid a hit. Right, we've got a Striv M21. And he's gone. He's been taken out. Okay, she's within range of the island, so she can hit something over there. And there's an FT, a Renault FT, hiding behind that rock. Round goes in, but it hits the rock. Now, this is a Tier 2 game, but in fact, there are a few Tier 1 tanks in there. And there's that Panzer 38-5T again. And we've got a T1. She's got so many targets to fire at, but only a few are within range. There's the T1 and the H-35, and they're sitting on the cliff looking down at the tanks below them, and two of the tanks below them are Tier 1s, but she's going to go after that medium. It's a big target, should make it fairly easy. She's got a flattened reticule, that means she's at maximum range, but it doesn't matter if she's at maximum range. She took out that medium one very well indeed, and this FT is not going to last long. Even though he's on the move, he's already been hit, and round out, this should be it. And it is! 2 hit points, but it killed the FT. And that T1 teetering on the edge, and it looks like the H-35 came down the cliff, took out the tank below, and is now making his way to the cap. So Seshet needs to make sure that this one's taken out. She's got 3 kills already, but she can't see that tank at the moment. This light Viz 35 is moving up. He should be able to spot him, and he has. But it looks like Seshet's so close to the action now, she needs to move back to give a bit of range between her and the target. Otherwise, she's not going to be able to loop the shells over. So she's pulling back to deal with this H-35. If he does make it into the cap area, she's going to need a bit of range between her and the target to ensure that she can get accurate shots into him. And going behind cover here is actually quite good, because even though she's in the bushes on the far southeast corner, it's going to be difficult for the enemy to spot her until he gets really close onto the cap. Okay, she's extending the aim again. The H-35 has just been taken out by the medium 2. Or is it medium 1? It's a medium 1. Up on top of the hill there is an enemy T1, but we can't see him at the moment. She's firing at the last known position, but she's only got 15 rounds of ammo left. She is using premium oil and also premium consumables, and that's a Tier 1 Japanese tank, the Renault NC1, and the NC31 I should say. Now there are still 6 enemies to deal with, but the only one that's closest is that T1, and he can't be very close to the edge because the Lutz VIS-38 would be spotting him by proximity if he was on the cliff edge, and he's not. That makes me think the enemy is actually a lot further away. And if that's the case, then Seshet's going to have to move forward again just to find him. The enemy does have an advantage in terms of numbers, but it appears that they probably lack the skill to exploit them. There's the T1. He went round the corner to try and spot enemy tanks as they were making their way up, but actually worked against them. Oh, now that's a problem, because we just lost the Lutz VIS-35, and that means now the enemy is starting to make a move towards our cap. There's a Striv M21, that's the tier 1 Swedish light tank, and it's been wiped out. Otherwise known as the shoe, but it's now a dead shoe. So she's now got 4 kills. Still no sight of the enemy. I think the enemy might be reluctant to come forward. If you actually look at their team list, you can see that the 3 light tanks that they still have in service are all tier 1s, whereas the tanks that are the light tanks on our side, well, one of them is not a light tank; it's a medium. But the tanks on our side are also tier 2s. What was it? Tier 2s? No, tier 1s. But they have slightly better guns. I think I should correct myself. Earlier I mentioned the Renault NC31. I think that's a Chinese tank, not a Japanese one. The Renault Otsu is the Japanese one. There's the T1, and he's firing off a magazine because he's a magazine-fed gun. Fired off a magazine, but it didn't get him anywhere. He's probably moving to the other side of the cliff edge, and he's probably going to look out, but the trouble is there's nobody close enough to actually spot him. Oh, there he is again. Looks like he's going to try again. Now you see he's full health. Okay, so Shet fired around him, but she didn't get anything there. It looks like he's going to go up to the edge and try and fire again. Oh, they killed him! The medium one fired at the T1 and took him out. So now, this is interesting because the scores are now equal. But it does appear that Seshet's side has the advantage on experience. The only experienced player on the enemy team is one of their Artys. Oh, she's been spotted. Okay, she needs to get onto cover. Yep, it's one of the Japanese light tanks, the Like tractor or Luke tractor, but he's been taken out. Okay, he was killed by the medium one again. So that medium one's racking up the kills. He's got 3 now. Ah, it's a pity he doesn't platoon with Seshet. So she suffered a loss of... she did suffer a loss of driver there. And the trouble is she doesn't have a first aid kit. Because she opted to take oil and premium consumable, she lacks the first aid kit that she needs in order to recover that crew member. It is her driver, but that's going to slow her down considerably, because that means the commander is now handling not only the gunnery, but also the loading, the observation, and also the driving. Okay, that Renault Otsu is making a move up the east side of the map. they're going to be able to act as lookout, but very soon Seshet's going to have to start thinking about moving forward, because the Renomotsu is going to spot the enemy, and she needs to be within range of the Otsu, A, to receive the information, and also to fire at the things that the Otsu can see. And I rather suspect the enemy Arty are still in the other end of the map. As you can see, Seshet's having a conversation with her teammates. And the Renomotsu has stopped in the village. Doesn't appear to be wanting to go much further. Now hopefully the T1 HMC will move out as well and come with her. But of course if he doesn't, then obviously he'll act as sentry for the cat. As you can see now, the SU-18 is painfully slow. Oh, she's been spotted. Okay, so somebody is fairly close. Question is where? I think that she's probably been spotted. Whoa, it's one of the Arty, and I think they might be on the hill. No, we know where they are now. They're on the island area, and that indication earlier that one of the Arty was over there is now confirmed. The T1 HMC managed to get a hit in, do some damage. Thankfully, it was only light damage to the tracks. But yeah, we now know that the T1 HMC is on the west side of the map, probably on the south of the island. Now that rather negates the possibility of her moving forward through the centre of the map. If she would be spotted, she would be fired on. The medium's moved down to behind the rock, because obviously he was spotted as well. And we don't know if he actually received any fire from the T1 HMC on the enemy team. But Seshet's definitely making a move, and I think she's going to go up. No, she's not going to go up. She's going to stay where she is. Right. Well, that was the 2-minute hooter a few seconds ago. So the only answer now is to for her to drive all the way to the enemy cap, which she'll probably be able to do just in time. There's the enemy. Okay, it's a LOL tractor, or light tractor in German. Dialing in. Round out. And she gets a hit. Unfortunately, we lose the medium one. She's going after the light tractor again. Round out. And that's a kill shot. And there's the enemy T1 HMC, but she was just out of range. She knows where he is now. So that's one thing. She knows the position of the T1 HMC and where he was last spotted. The Renomotsu is making his way to the cap, but it's too late for him to start capping and win now, because it would take 1 minute 30 seconds. And we're now from the 1 minute hooter. So Seshet's moving closer to the enemy, which is risky. She's only got about 50% of her health left, but 51%. But there's the enemy FTPS, and he's well within range. In fact, he's very close. He stopped to aim. That's a 6th sense going off, and she gets a kill shot with her first shot, and that brings up her top gun. So she's got 6 kills now, and there's the T1 HMC. And seshet's going to go for him too now. Just lining up the aim, dialing it in. The T1 HMC, she fires, she takes him out and wins the game. Gets the last 2 kills, 7 kills, and a win 8 of 5-1-1-8. Let's have a look at the end of battle results. And it's another ace tanker for seshet in the SU-18. She also picked up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. She got 8. A top gun for getting at least 6 kills. She's got 7. And she managed to get a counter battery fire medal as well for taking out both of the enemy Arty. Now let's have a look at the team score. Well, highest damage 462 hit points overall. Highest number of kills 7. And the highest base XP 556. But even with 556, that wouldn't be enough to actually win the Arty Day competition, because unfortunately the winning score was in the 600s and this one's slightly below. And I think that may have been down to the fact that some of the targets she took out, some of the kills she managed to get, she managed to do so with very little hit points gained. So based on total amount of damage, I think she didn't score as highly. Plus, of course, the targets she was firing at were mostly tier 1s, whereas in the game that I won, most of the targets I was firing at were tier 2, which obviously made a big difference. So let's have a look at the detail report. Well, seshet fired 17 rounds, got 9 direct hits, 9 penetration and 1 splash. Damage of 462 hit points, of which 151 were at more than 300 meters. She received 5 hits during that battle. Obviously there were small caliber rounds. 3 were penetrations, 2 were non-penetrations. She received 1 hit as a result of splash damage as well from the T1 HMC. She blocked damage of 11 hit points. That was one of the rounds from the light tractor. And she spotted 1 enemy vehicle. I think that was the FTBS. She damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 7 of them. And on the standard account, she earned 8,062 credits. And after repair, ammunition and consumables, she actually suffered a loss of 37,770 credits. And that's because she did use premium consumables on the vehicle, both to boost her performance and also to boost the performance of the vehicle. So unfortunately, she suffered a loss there. But she did win 556 base XP, and there was no other boosters, so I'm afraid that's all she took away. But it just goes to show, really, even with scoring a top gun and a counter battery and an ace tanker, it still wasn't enough to be the winner for Arty Day. And in fact, actually, it was about 1 hour after Arty Day had already closed in America. So sadly, on this occasion, that was not the winning entry. But on any other occasion, it might have been a high scoring win. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel. And hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.